Thank you, Rohit. So, hi everyone, and welcome to this interesting episode of Flying Stories Overcoming Fear. My name is Uday, and I'm your host for today. So, some of you might think, is this topic even worthy of a whole dedicated session? But I'm sure there are many of us who are currently grappling with this issue, or have been in this situation at some point in their paragliding journey. I, for one, can vouch of being in this situation more than once. So to speak on this subject, we didn't have to look far. We have amongst us a pilot who has seen and experienced it all. As a paragliding pilot, we have seen him, starting as a carefree, over and through daredevil, to the extent of sometimes even
Just hold on a second. Hold on a second.
suddenly being very scared and unsure, and was. You guys can hear me? Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was talking about this paragliding pilot, whom we have seen from, he's starting as a carefree or and through daredevil, to the extent of sometimes even being, in our opinion, a bit reckless, to suddenly being very scared and unsure and going into a shell. Soon enough, he was out again, shining, full of confidence and knowing exactly what he wants, what his capabilities are, and achieving all that he aimed for. From being scared of flying in thermals on a mellow serial wing to doing helicos on freestyle wings, he has come a long way. He's also known for bringing color to the flying scene. He switches from formal suits to sportswear with ease and carries it all with style. He has a funny take on anything and everything. And if you have ever crossed his path, trust me, you're already featuring in his mimic acts. I can go on and on, but let me cut it short here and hand over the stage to our very own, the Sajid Khan. Over to you, Sajid.
That was very nice. Thank you there. First of all, I'm very happy that you're the host, and Rohit is also there to support. And thank you everyone for coming in for this chat. And it's a pleasure to be talking to everyone on a subject which is not uh, normally discussed during a paragliding forum or is dedicated to this. A whole evening is dedicated to this. But I think it is one of those topics that we all need to address at some point of time, and I think it is something that we all go through when we fly, and through our flying career. Once somewhere down the line, we feel fear, and we feel, and it has its effect on us. It is a sensitive topic, and I will therefore be basing it only on me as an example. But I'm happy if anybody else wants to share. I know a few people in the group already who have said that they will be happy to share their experiences, which will be great because the more we have sharing experience, the more we can learn. And we'll make this thing a little easy because all these past days we've been having serious topics and serious discussion, from weather to thermals to doing distances and stuff. And we've got some very senior pilots who have spoken to us. But I thought, okay, this time let's have a little bit of fun and also talk about a serious topic in a fun way. And we'll talk about fear, on what fear does to us, what is fear, how it affects us in flying, and what we actually can do to overcome this and actually get back to doing what we took the sport up for in the first place. I think all of us took the sport up for fun, for the joy of flying, for the wonder of flying, for being able to get into the sky like birds do. And none of us said, okay, I want to do 200 kilometers, and that's why I've taken the sport. It's a byproduct of the fun that we have. But as we go along, we have faced a little bit of downtime, a little bit of fear, a scared feeling, which has caused us to not give the full potential that we have. So today we're going to address that, and we're going to address what kinds of fear there are, and how it affects us in flying, and how we can go overcome this.
Right.
And we'll also discuss my own experience. So let's start off this. I'm going to share my screen to this.
You can.
Uday, can you see this?
We can see you. Yeah.
Okay.
Just do it.
So this is what we're going to do today. Just four things. What is fear? We need to first identify what fear is. What is it actually that we are feeling? Then we're going to talk about flying in fear, not fear of flying, but flying in fear, and how what it causes us to do and the effect it has on us, and then the effects that has on our flying mentality, and then finally overcoming this. So if you see, we've graded this in color. So we go from red to green, and these are the 4 steps that we'll be talking on.
This is
So-
so not Sajid, I mean, this is already getting interesting. We have Sajid giving a slideshow. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I hope
Well-
everyone can see this. This is
No audio, but Sajid, your audio is not.
my audio is not there.
No.
Okay. Share computer sound. Let's start again.
Yep.
Better now?
और ये मैं आसमान की ऊंचाइयों में बहुत ऊंचे, पूरा कोहरा ही कोहरा, चारों तरफ कोहरा ही कोहरा है बस।
We get it.
So you see that this is fear. You could see that this guy was feeling something, and we want to now define what actually he was feeling. I'm going to share the screen again. Just bear with me. So fear is this. Fear is an unpleasant emotion caused by threat of danger, pain, or harm, induced by a perceived threat. So please read that again, induced by a perceived threat. Now, fear is something that is felt by everyone. Fear is an emotion. It says very clearly that it is an emotion. Now, because it's an emotion, it also helps us be careful in serious situations. It is an inbuilt thing for us to be careful. But the fear that what you saw just now was a different kind. We will come to that. Let's see some examples of fear. Here, this is Uday, our very own Uday, who is doing his 360s.
I knew.
Sorry, this is Ritu. My mistake. Sorry guys, this is Ritu. My mistake. So if you saw, Ritu did a fantastic bit of 360. It was pretty deep. But if you see her face expression, she was like not very sure. She was like, she was breathing very hard. And these are the feelings of emotion. The next one is actually Uday, and I'm unable to see it. Give me a minute. Yes. Is that you, Uday?
It's not yet come on my screen, so.
Oh, okay, this one. Can you see this?
Yeah. Yeah. No, not.
No. Okay, I'll try again.
One before.
I'll try again.
Before, I guess.
Is this you?
The orange glider. I can't. It's not.
Yeah,
yet.
this is you. So this is Uday now. You can see his hands, which are not very comfortable, and he's shaking a little bit.
exit was a little strong.
So this basically is some of the examples of fear. So you'll see the body language changes. You are so these are items that you do. These are maneuvers that you do in SIV, and SIV is under control. SIV is something that you need to get familiar with. But if you do them regularly, you get better control. Here, although you're doing it, you're still in tension, you're still in pressure, your hands are going very slowly down, and you're feeling that pressure. Ritu's face, if you saw that, she was breathing, she was heavy breathing. It's something that you're uncomfortable with. So what really defines fear? Like, if you're flying, if it could be in any kind of situation, it could be in a thermal, it could be strong wind takeoff, it could be landing, it could be a lot of cases. But if you hear yourself say things like "oh shit" or the F word or MCBC, I've heard people do that. Yeah, saying "lag gayi yaar, I want to land, mujhe land kara do yaar, koi land kara do, bas I just want to stay away from this. I'll probably take a motorcycling. I don't want this sport anymore. It's shaking too much. It's going to create a problem. And why am I doing this? And then finally, everybody ends up at one word. And that would be this. Everybody ends up with this word and says "mummy." When you hear "mummy," that's when you're scared and you want to land. And that's all.
The far end of the fear spectrum.
Yeah, that's the farthest of the fear spectrum that you go. But let's go further now. Let's define what fear is and understand a little bit more about this.
Okay, so we have started defining fear now. This is another new.
So beyond fear is something known as phobia. Phobia is extreme or irrational fear of something. Now, if you saw the guy who was the first video that I showed, he said "land kara de," ooh, he was doing kora. He was feeling fear, but it was sort of extreme reaction that he was having, and a sort of irrational fear of something that was going very well. But in his mind, he had made a lot of scenarios of fear, which was really making him paralyzed. It could be that he was not. It's a secondary thing that he was probably not in the harness properly, but ultimately it was about flying. Ultimately, it was about the movement that he was doing. And you know the entire video. I don't need to tell you what happens later on. But yeah, he offers money and stuff. But let's just go a little bit deeper now. Uday, I'm just going to now compare fear and phobia so that we have an understanding.
Sure.
Well, fear is a very common feeling that you have. Everybody has it. But phobia, on the other side, is a form of anxiety disorder, excessive fear of things that won't cause harm. How many times have we gone into a strong thermal and said, "No, this is not for me. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." Instead of enjoying the thermal, instead of climbing. That probably is something that will define this. Fear is, again, felt by everyone who's facing danger. Sorry, that's a mistake there. Everyone who's facing danger is feeling fear. And phobia actually causes irrational fear and consumes you. You always think about this. Even before you take off, before you even enter a thermal, you're already worried about it. Fear talks about it shows nervousness, anxiety, and discomfort. Whereas phobia gives you shortness of breath, dizziness, nausea, vomiting. So now if you see the video, you will see Ritu bit in discomfort, shortness of breath. She's doing that. It's probably not phobia, but bounding on phobia. You see the first guy, he was nervous. He was absolutely in discomfort. The Manali Kora guy. And I have felt nausea and vomiting feeling for sure. Let's just go a little bit deeper. Uday, is it okay if I move forward?
Yeah, please, because you're coming to a very interesting comparison and rather expansion of these.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
now there's something more. Now, what happens? What we'll do examples of this. So in fear, you're feeling anxious about turbulence, but when it turns into phobia, which is irrational feeling of fear of things, then you avoid thermic flying. You avoid flying in beach. Although it's beautiful flying, people all over the world come to beach to fly, but you have in your mind somewhere you are processing that into something which is irrational, and you're avoiding this. Uneasiness when looking down from top of a building. I'm just giving an example, random examples. And then probably you have a job offer that is on the 10th floor of a building, but you give up that because you don't want to look down. Okay, a simpler example is that some people don't like dogs. Like they see a dog in the lane and they're nervous. And phobia is when you actually take a longer route home to avoid that dog. Now, I leave it to you guys to see where you identify yourself with these, and you know what you're feeling, right? Some of us would have overcome it. Some of us would probably still be in it, and some of us would also be finding this out that, oh yeah, I feel this right now.
So, Sahid, this has really got very interesting, because I mean, if I speak of this, yeah, I've been anxious of turbulence, and I have avoided thermic flying, or even beer for that matter, and some people know that close to me. But this is very nicely articulated. You have actually differentiated between fear and phobia. I didn't know that this part is fear, and now this has turned into phobia. So this is really very interesting, and I think a lot of people can probably relate to this, and or probably can identify some of their own instances, in terms of this segregation. So, it would be interesting to hear with an example of probably your own. We host ki to le liya, but khud ki bhi zara, if you can open up a bit, what really went through, what happened, because
Sure.
like I mentioned in the opening remarks, you were a very carefree pilot in the beginning. You just wanted to fly. You didn't care kya condition, kya direction, nothing. You were the first one to take off, and you just didn't bother. And then you suddenly went into a shell. So what really happened there? What got you down, and then what pulled you out? So if you could.
So yeah, this is why I'm talking about this, because actually that was a journey in which I feel I wasted a lot of my years, because this is something that I found out on my own, through this part, and that's why I'm talking about this. Um, for example, like you said, when I started this flying thing. Actually, I did my P1 way back in '96, and in Nasik, and then there was a gap, obviously, because I was not in India, and then when I came back, I joined with you guys in 2008 or so. And that's the time when I was like, I just wanted to be in the air. I didn't care about thermal. I didn't care about. I just wanted to be in the air. Like as long as the glider is in the air, I just want to be in it. I remember in my first few flights in Shelar, I was in a Venturi, stuck in a Venturi, and neither was I going ahead, neither was I going back, and I was stuck in one place. And TJ sir came on radio and he said, "Kya kar rahe hain aap? Udhar kyun hai? Get out from there." I was like, shit, why is he telling me this? I was actually having fun, and that's how I started. I was enjoying it, and then that's when we all went to Nepal for the SIV, first SIV, and I had to cut short the trip for something, an emergency in Bombay. And that's the time when you guys did the stalls in the SIV course, and I didn't do that. All of you guys did stalls, and I did not do that. And you guys came back and said it was crazy. We had to throw this, and it was, oh my God, we actually collapsed. And for us who had just started flying, to the idea of stalling a glider which is completely going down and not flying was scary to me. And that slowly caused a little bit of fear to creep into me. Then I got introduced to videos of dangers of flying, that things that would actually, I could actually have a problem while flying. I saw videos where people were landing and crashing. I saw people who were taking off and crashing. And for me, that was never a problem. It was like, I can do this. I just want to take off. And I remember when the wind was not in right direction, it was cross. I just simply turned this side and I took off because I just wanted to be in the air. Now that caused me to go into a shell, and that was very difficult for me to come out. And I started making excuses every time I started flying. Every time the glider would roll or pitch, I would just get down and land. And my flight started lasting for 5 minutes, for 6 minutes, for 7 minutes, and I was not enjoying it at all. And then slowly I started thinking about this, and you guys, all of you guys, I started talking to people. I started talking to you, Karthik, Rohit, Viz, Imad, Sanjeev, and Avi, a big help, TJ sir, Gurpreet, and Pendu. I spoke to all of them. Avi even showed me that you sit on this Sajid. He got so frustrated with me. He said, Sajid, sit on this chair. And he just pulled me back like that. He said, Sajid, that's all you feel in a stall. Don't get worried. But it just wouldn't help me. So finally, I decided to work on it slowly on day-to-day basis, and I'll explain this to you on how I overcame it. But eventually, after reading a lot and understanding it and seeing videos and really understanding what is really causing me a problem, I cracked the whole stall thing. I cracked the high G spiral dives. I cracked SAT, and while I did this on 2 SIVs, I went back to Turkey, and I went on my own. I didn't go for any course, although it was available there, but I didn't take anything. I just wanted to do it on my own to prove to myself. And for first 3 days, I just stalled my wing, and that was Aquila freestyle. I just stalled it. I said, I just want to get this over with. And I kept stalling and stalling and stalling till I got so good with it. Like now it's easy. All that fear that I had gone. And then I taught myself Helico by myself by seeing videos. And that for me is a process. We all know that Helico deals with stall point, deep stall, everything put together. And it's not an easy maneuver to do. All the acro guys have the longest frustration with this maneuver. But that's when I got it.
Can you show us like one of your videos? You know,
yeah, I can show you when I did it for the first time. So this is me cracking it for the first time, and I'm actually looking for people to share this with, because nobody's there to watch me. This is the first time after 4 days of stalling and deep stalling, I cracked it. This is in Turkey. So I'm actually looking around. Did anybody see it? Did anybody see it? For me, it was a big culmination of all the fears that I had, that I overcame it, and that was me screaming over there. Of course, I will not deny all the input that was given to me by Avi and TJ and everybody else who has helped me in that. Rohit, for that matter. In fact, Rohit and I have spoken so much, and Rohit has seen my struggle, and he himself has gone through a bit. That's when this happened. So this is my story, and I don't know if anybody else would want to.
Yeah, so I think we have come to a very interesting point. I think you have opened up a lot about what you've gone through, and you showed some couple of videos. So I think it's time to try and see if there are others who feel the same. What their and have they come out of it, or they still are struggling to come out of it. So why don't I get somebody to come on and speak about your experience, or probably guys like Rohit or Shrikant, anybody who has gone through this can come up and speak to us about all this.
I can read the chat, Avi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
He's so right.
Yeah, Shrikant.
He knows you well.
Yeah, Shrikant.
Yeah. No, if I'm talking, I'll be missing the chat. I'm just waiting for Avi to complete. Okay. So interesting topic to speak, Sajid. I want to share two incidents that happened to me, and probably that could be some eye opener for others. So the two incidents, one was at the takeoff, both were at takeoff. So I was inflating, and one side of the glider had, collapsed, or it was inside, and I didn't see it, and I just went to run and take off, and it had a cravat, and I had a very bad landing, and it took a long time for me to come out of that. The second one was again in takeoff in Tower East. I had 3 top landings, and I was ready to go to the 4th one. Very enthusiastically, I was ready to take off, but I didn't know that the wind condition, wind direction has changed, and that led me to into an incident. But these incidents got me into a lot of learning. The learning was, the community comes to a lot of help. When you're getting into an accident, you actually don't want to fly again. That is the feeling I had. I just don't want to fly again. But thanks to the community, uh, there were a lot of people like Rohit, Karthik, you, and Avi spoke to me and got me out of that. But at the same time, there was a few people in the community also talk about, this is not for you. I know that this is going to happen. You are not ready for it and all. So that's not going to help. And you invest on the positive side of it. There were a lot of materials that I got to read. Rohit sent me, and I was reading all that. And uh, the important thing that I learned from that was three things. When you go to fly, there are three aspects of it. One is physical, the second is technical, and third one is mental. And all these three play a very vital role in your safety and overcoming the fear, because you need to go from a fear to a positive side, which is called the courage, and that's not easy. And that only can come when people are talking to you about your next flight, how good the next flight is going to be. If you're on a scale of 100 before you met with an accident, you actually come to really like a 10 or a 15. You don't want to go. And that's the time the positivity helps, go from 15, take small steps and go over that, just take a top down flight and all. I clearly remember the first incident that I had in Annecy. I didn't want to, after that incident, I didn't want to fly. And the next site we were going was Interlaken. Arif was there with me and he pushed me to fly the next day. I just didn't want to fly because he knew my psyche, because it was in July and I'm not going to fly till November. I would definitely go from a fear to phobia by then. So my friend was there to push me to go to that flight and just do a top down. So that gave me a lot of confidence. So what I'm trying to say is the community helps a lot, and the positivity of those friends' inputs helps me to come out of that fear. So these are the things I wanted to share.
Very, very well put.
Yeah, very, very,
Very well put. This is exactly what we when he said that you would probably move from fear to phobia. That is a right thing, because that's the more we think about, the more we irrational part of it comes into the picture.
Yeah.
I remember when we were flying earlier on. Viz and I used to fly together, and then suddenly Viz went off onto a different tangent, and I used to think, what's wrong with this guy? Because I was suffering, and I didn't know that I was suffering with fear. I was fearing, and I know that Viz was also at times scared, but most of the times I felt he was not scared. And I used to wonder, what is wrong with me? I used to blame myself, and that slowly went into from fear to phobia. But Viz actually is also worried. But he's managing it in a different way. Plus, he's Viz. That's a different issue. Yeah. So anybody else? Maybe Rohit.
So since Shrikant got us to a point of community support, and there are a couple of guys.
Can I interrupt here?
Yes, please, Viz Baba, go ahead.
So I think Sajid had some theory about this. Sajid used to tell me about some theory about the wax in my ears being too thick or thin or something.
Yeah. I actually read up about it, and I felt that this guy. So our thing is, we have sense of direction because of a little bit of wax in a ear, which also brings out fear. It tells you, okay, this is too much of movement. So I thought this probably there's a condition where the wax thickens. You don't feel fear. So I always thought that was the problem with him.
Yeah, I remember even Avi used to talk of the intermediate syndrome at some time and all that. We'll bring the experts talk later on. But since she has left us to a point where he talked of the community, so I have these couple of guys in mind, who I always feel that are the backbone of this community, who keep on pushing people, supporting them and all that. So I would like to bring in Rohit and Badri, if both of you can come in. You guys have really been a big support to the flying fraternity in some ways, in your own ways. While learning, you've been supporting others, pushing. You are not instructors, but you still were good support to other guys. So even Sajid has many times mentioned you in the talk so far, that you have been helping. So Rohit, why don't you come in first, and then Badri, and give us your what you experienced talking to other people and how you saw people getting into fear and then coming out of it.
Sure. So there is a video on same this channel about the entire reserve deployment that I have talked in detail. This was in very early days, about 2 years into flying. I was just blooming into my thermal flying, first trip from Bear, all excited. So I won't go in detail about that, but there was this reserve deployment, and I managed the entire situation to the best of my abilities given the scenario. 90 meters from the ground, I stalled the wing. In a stalled wing, I deployed the reserve, and just managed to create sufficient time for the reserve to open before I hit the deck. When I did all that, you wouldn't believe I was invincible. Viz came running to me. Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Everything went great. I just did manage, I deployed it, everything perfect. And he said, yeah, let's wrap up and go. So I said, no, let's go fly again. Let's take off again. I wanted to get back on the horse. So much chemical pumping in the body, in the brain at that time. I was like extremely high. That's what the flight and fight response, nature's way of pumping energy into you in the difficult scenarios. But that day, fortunately, unfortunately, the wind has completely turned parallel and I couldn't fly that day. What really hit me hard is after all those chemicals left my body in 12 hours, 24 hours. That's when it really hit me hard. And from that point, maybe in next week, I came back again. You wouldn't believe, the kind of takeoffs. I have been very comfortable with the high wind conditions, everything. I just couldn't stand on the takeoff. My legs were shivering. My mind was going complete numb. But I knew that I have to still fly. So I waited. I waited till I could see even the P1, P2s getting launched in the air. I only taken off after I could see P1 and P2 in the air. That's when I know that I can do better. I can handle this scenario for sure. And the only reason I could fly is because the ingrained muscle memory with so much ground handling that I've done, but my mind was numb. I was actually doing an autopilot takeoff, really. I didn't know what I was doing, but I could still manage it. Every little bump I would get, even at 536, nothing else in the air, but even a slightest bump, a slightest pitch would scare a hell out of me. So from that stage, slowly I have to climb back. So I'll take a pause here. I think Sajid has some of the managing with fear, and maybe at that time I'll jump in again to talk about my experiences about taking it out from there.
Okay, so
That's good.
yeah, before we go back to Sajid, or I think Karthik also.
Karthik is here.
Yeah, Karthik, you want to take a shot at this?
Yeah, Uday, I mean, I'll just go back to the start of the lecture and sort of let's put it in a different way, that the sport basically is a very different sport, what we are all into. It has an element of machismo that everyone likes. If anyone denies it, or if Sajid denies it, I will get into an argument, but let's leave it at that. But this all comes inherently, or is part of the fear that makes the sport so alluring. Now, when we talk of fear, I myself, like Rohit said, even I have been through it. I mean, during an SIV, unfortunately, the SIV went, one of the maneuvers went south and I had to throw a reserve, and instead of landing in the water, I ended up landing close to power lines, and which sort of put me in such a place that I just wanted to give up. But again, let's take a step back and come back to how the human brain is wired, the flight and fright situation, in terms of our reptilian brain, how that works. So essentially, when you talk about overcoming fear, it is getting control of that part of the brain. And a lot of this will come through the community that we are forming, the friends that we have. At every stage where I have felt, even in flight, where I have actually, where Sajid, Rohit, you, TJ have seen that, okay, I'm going towards a landing. I mean, to come back and I've got a call on the radio, where do you think you're going? And that one call itself sort of gets your mind out of a certain rut where you are like, shit, I gotta land. And then you take a turn and come back and start flying. So like everyone said, like Shrikant put it, it is the friends and the circle that you fly with makes such an important part, or is such an important factor in overcoming the fear that we all have, or we all have gone through at some point in flying. I would like to keep going, but I will just keep it at that, because Sajid has, again, like Rohit said, Sajid has got quite a bit written down, and he would give us a better presentation on how to overcome fear.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Karthik, for that. Sajid, before I come back to you, Badri, do you want to quickly say something? Because you are probably the one who's talking to most pilots right now. You have started his flying stories, and you have spoken to a lot of people, including the gurus, on different subjects. So what's your take on what's happening on the fear front?
Yeah, I think before I go giving a long answer, I would like to give it in short bits. We're probably coming multiple times as we're progressing. Yes, everybody has fear. Even I have fear. The moment I have put the gloves and helmet, and when you yourself say that, yeah, I'm ready to in some time ready to take off, that I can feel my heart beating very hard. I can hear it. And many questions come into the mind. Will I launch well? And will I be today go back home in one piece? So there's set of probably, I think this fear has probably many shapes and many ways it comes to your mind all at once. And it's not done there. I mean, the moment you are in the air, and it comes in a different form, even if it is soft air. And that is like what I learned is, first of all, to take a piece of cloth and hanging under that is, first of all, is a big stupidity, okay, to take that step. But we all made that decision, I think. And then we need to digest that and understand this is sport, and we have taken it sportively. So we have to go with that. And then after that, my formula is very simple. I used to decide a line, where am I comfortable, and I used to push by 10%. And that is the risk. Okay, I'll take 10% more than what I don't understand. Anything more than that, I used to come backward.
Perfect.
Thank you, guys.
Perfect.
So, Badri, you have got us to a very interesting point again. I mean, this conversation is really going so well. So, Sajid, I want to come back to you, and I want to focus on this point that Badri just got out, that being comfortable. So I want to look at the positive side of this now. In fact, if we recall the session with Gurpreet, Preeti had asked a very simple question, a very basic question about thermaling, how
thermaling.
To well. And, it was such a simple and, what do you say, like a very basic question that I was wondering how Gurpreet is going to respond to it. And, it's a question sometimes we hesitate to ask. And I should thank Preeti, to have asked that question, because Gurpreet came with a brilliant explanation. And if I recall it, he said that, the fear element is something that we need to understand and acknowledge. Why did I come into this sport? We came to fly, to thermal, or to whatever was your aim to come into flying. He talked about working on the motivation, focusing on the joy. We are going to expect a little discomfort, a little bit of fear, which is normal. And I think everybody experiences it. And I think a lot of people have already experienced, at least the regular pilots, and we'll soon come to the experts as well. So, he's talked of, enjoying the flying and, cutting down the bullshit or the fear factor that comes in. So why don't you take us through that, Sajid?
Yes, Uday, that's exactly the point. What happens when we feel fear is like, like Karthik also mentioned, and like Gurpreet mentioned, that to Preeti's question, that, Preeti said, I feel scared or rather worried in a tight thermal, and I want to go tighter, but it feels difficult. So he said, just get out of it. I mean, there's no price for being in the thermal for too long. If you're not comfortable, get out of it. And okay, somebody's playing with this presentation. Probably it's Viz. Maybe what happens is your fight and flight mode is your reptilian brain, the way Karthik was saying. And then there is the analytical mind. Like Shrikant said, that for him it was fight or flight. He was trying to flee, and if he had waited for too long, it would have turned into a phobia kind of thing. But this analytical mind is something that we need to use later on to overcome this. And what actually happened? Rohit, would you like to say something over here? Rohit?
Sure. So I think I'll just expand further on what Karthik actually said about the reptile mind, or the primitive mind, monkey mind, they call it, and our evolved human being through the millennials of our process of evolution. If you acknowledge these two parts, then you can start identifying which is the mind which is pushing this irrational fears, which is the reptilian brain or the primitive mind, and which part will help you to stay in the analytical mind. So the question that you need to ask when you feel fear, some of those recalled memories, and that's exactly, I'll continue with my journey. As I started flying in the most calmest condition, even the slightest pitch in my glider would scare the hell out of me. I would just freeze. My throat will go dry. And that's when I have to ask questions from myself. What am I worried about? What is the worst thing that could happen given the condition, given the scenario? My analytical mind will jump in here, say that this is the most benign condition. This is
this is what you would feel: shortness of breath and dizziness.
Exactly, and a complete dry mouth, feeling as if my hands are frozen. I'm not reacting anymore. So you got to acknowledge this, and you got to start focusing on some of your body clues. Sometimes it's even difficult for you to know which part of that flight or fight or analytical mind you're dropping in. Some of the clues I'm going to give you: if you are tense, you will tend to stand up or lean forward in your harness. You're not relaxed, or you're not sitting relaxed back in your harness. Extremely dry mouth, or a confused mind. All you care is you're looking at the landing and you want to go and land. You just want to say, I want to be safe today. When these are the only things that starts going in your mind, your body language, that's completely the irrational or your primitive mind telling you to save yourself.
Yeah, now, that's what I'm coming to, which is causes irrational fear and consumes you. This is probably the part.
Yeah. Do you want to?
No, go ahead. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Right. And this is when some of the techniques. Now, thanks to a couple of PhD theses written on that, Gavin's, there were a couple of pilots, and these are the psychologists on various calls that have given all this knowledge. And some of that I have practiced myself. So for sure this works. When you see these signs in you, you have to focus on relaxing yourself. You have to focus on taking a long, deep breaths. You have to focus on your breathing. Often you realize that you're doing a lot of shallow breathing. You're not breathing properly. And that's when you start doing that. You start taking a long, deep breath, hold it for a second or two, exhale out, your mind starts calming down. So those are the techniques that you start adopting. A couple of other techniques, Sajid will cover them, but I'll probably pass them. So, but idea is to understand that which part of the mind that you're right now in, is it the primitive or is it the analytical? Are you thinking? What is that? It makes you afraid. What is the worst that you're looking here? Is it the conditions that are going to be that worse? Look around you. There are some other pilots flying. Look at their wings. Are they pitching that badly? Are they collapsing? Why do you think your wing will collapse? So these are the questions you start asking, and through the process, through the breathing, through focusing on the happier part of your previous memories, you start bringing yourself back in the analytical mind, or I would say not a primitive mind.
Okay. So thanks, Rohit. Uday, I want to answer that question of yours on what actually goes on. Look, when we get this is my own example. Rohit also said the same thing. I'm sure Arif and Karthik and Shrikant will say the same thing. We start making excuses. Like, I want to get into a thermal. The moment my glider pitches or rolls, my throat gets dry. There's shortness of breath, and I go and land. Okay, I want to go and land. Like Karthik said, he wants to go and land. Then once we land, we are like safe now. Then suddenly the whole braveness comes out and says, "Shit, why did I land? I could have stayed." And then then comes the ego. Then you start making excuses. Oh no, my harness was not right. Oh no, my glider was not behaving right. Oh, I went into this kind of air which was not very bumpy, and I didn't have it today. I'm not feeling it right. We make lots of excuses, and inside that those excuses that you're making are not right. You are scared, and you're not able to accept it. You're not able to take it. Now, why am I not able to take it? Because I'm a senior pilot. My junior is flying. I'll give you a simple example. Alok came in when we were flying. He started flying, or I've seen him do his P1 when we were midway through our flying time. And today Alok flies so well. Badri for that example. But there is no ego issue now anymore. There wasn't any, but I can give an example. How people can come and become much better faster, which is great. But everyone flies at their own pace. Everybody feels a different fear, a different feeling at a different pace. Everybody doesn't have the thing to do an infinity tumble like TJ. I want to eventually, but not everybody can do that. So everybody's got a different thing. Like Rohit asked me the other day, why do you keep on talking about SAT and helico and all these acro? Kya karna hai usse? Kya farak padta hai usse? That's when I realized that people who are into XC don't understand the thrill of it. For me, that is more fun. I want to do it. So it's individual. The same way your fear is individual to you. The same way you need to deal with it in an individual way. Stop making those excuses and think about how you want to take this down. So when I went into this, the info that I got extra while I was being a maverick out there and flying and being risky at times, that actually got me into a shell. And from that shell, I wanted to come out. What helped me was knowledge. People like Rohit and Karthik and Uday and Viz and Avi, TJ, all the people that Gurpreet and Pendu sir, all these people I spoke to. And I asked them, I sat with them, I spoke to them, they taught me, they helped me. And slowly I started doing it. But it was not an immediate effect. For example, I had taken Akila. And that's another thing that I want to talk to you about. Like Shrikant said, there are people who talk nonsense to you. I had just bought an Akila, which is a freestyle, and I was very jittery because everyone said, oh, 1 centimeter here and it'll go into this, 1 centimeter there, it'll go into this. And as I was taking off, my first flight in Turkey, and I'm very jittery, I'm like, I've just taken off. And as I was running, taking speed, somebody from behind, I won't say who, said, Sajid, be careful, even 1 centimeter and it'll go into a mess. Shit, come on, not now, when I was just taking off. So I take off and I go to the box and I'm unable to do anything. I'm very scared. And eventually after 2 days, I was sharing my room with TJ, and TJ told me next day, sir, aapse nahi hoga. And that really hurt me. When he said, aapse nahi hoga. And that's when I decided, okay, I'm going to get this done. And later on, of course, I went through SIVs and I nailed nose down spirals that day. Because he said nahi hoga. So different things work for you, right? Somebody saying that to me worked for me. Somebody telling me, like Avi told me about Akila, when I said, apparently this stall is very difficult. I said, don't be silly. It's simple. Kitna baar tune stall kiya? Chal ja, Akila nikal. Chal Akila jab udayenge hum log. This was in Bilaspur. And this is what he told me. It just built my confidence. I just went and stalled the wing several times that day. Of course, I restalled it while recovering it. But that was a lesson. So that is the way we need to first identify. Uday, I'd like to move on forward to the ways we can get over it, the final thing, which is what everyone's waiting for.
Sure.
Would that be okay?
Yeah, of course. I mean, so if anyone has questions in the meanwhile, you can put it in the comment box and we can open it up.
I have one question.
Sure.
So is this your thrilling part is the scaring others is also your part of thrilling?
Am I scaring others?
Not now, while flying.
No, that is to avoid you from feeling fear. Okay, let's not get into that.
Okay, we shall believe you.
Yeah. So I think these are a few steps that I have done to overcome fear. Now, if you go on the internet, you will find 7 steps, 8 steps, 10 steps. You can go and read that. But this is what is adapted to flying situation. Those are general steps. I think the first thing that we need to do is accept it. Just accept, remove your ego, put it aside, analyze it yourself and say that, listen, I have a problem. I have a fear. I have a phobia. I am scared of flying. Do I want to fly? Yes, but I am scared of flying. The joy of flying has been taken out from me. Once you accept this, which is again a very important point, you can move on to the other part. The other part, next part, is to question it. The question is what? You'll say, okay, self-analyze and question it would be the same, but no, there's a difference. Question it means, what do I actually feel? What part am I going to accept? That, okay, am I scared of strong winds takeoff? Am I scared of thermal flying? Am I scared of high strong thermals? Am I scared of flying close to the terrain, landing, strong wind takeoff? What am I scared of? Once you have nailed that down, you need to self-analyze. What does my glider actually do when I'm scared? I'm scared when it, like Rohit was saying, that it was pitching. But okay, what is happening? It was just pitching. We have done the pitching exercise in SIV. So why am I feeling scared? So which part of it is irrational? Then you'll be able to identify that. And then you'll know, actually my glider is on top. It is rolling and pitching. That's what it's supposed to do. So why am I feeling scared? Why am I worried about it? Then you need to say to yourself, okay, what am I actually fearing here? Okay, you need to figure that out. And what you need to do is take a time to get that feeling. Like, I think TJ or somebody said that before you feel fear in your brain, you feel it in your stomach, in one of the previous chats we had. So what is that? You need to, and most of the times you'll feel that it is irrational. Okay. The next part to that is positivity and education. Positivity and education means, when you know what the problem is, part of it is irrational, or major part of it is irrational. Why is that irrational? What is it that your glider is doing? If I'm scared of stalls, I wanted to know, what is that feeling? When I stalled it, yes, it stalled, and everyone spoke to me, oh, don't worry, it comes back, and you get into backfly and you can do all that stuff, which is great. But also educate yourself into what are the steps. Talk to people, talk to instructors, talk to and read about it. What will happen with that is, slowly the irrational part of it slowly goes away, because understanding what the glider is doing. Now let's take stalls for example. Stalls is not going to surprise you in a different reaction every time. Stall is going to behave in the same way. So if I know how to handle it, finally, I know every time it stalls, I know how to handle it. It's not a new thing that I need to invent. So this is education. This is positivity. Talk to people who are supporting you. Make a group, and our group, we all speak to each other. We have a separate group talking about this all the time, learning. That will help. Also, once you do that, what actions do you need to take in flying, in your flying? If you want, like Karthik said that, he tries to go away, because we know he's feeling fear, and we call him back and we tell him, come to this side of the thermal. This is better. Maybe just, tell your mind, okay, let me just fly for 10 more minutes. If I don't have any collapses in the strong wind, in the strong thermal, I will stay. If I have 2 collapses or 3 collapses, small collapses, I'm going to go out. That is fair. But this is built over and over and over slowly till you get back. And that means that you need to show up. You need to show up to the flying. You need to show up to the takeoff. For example, Uday, you're feeling about strong wind takeoff because you have had an incident.
Yeah.
But you need to show up. Like when you show up, and I've seen you kiting, I've seen you do so many things, and you always think about it, and you kite more nowadays because you want to deal with it, which is great. But you show up, right? That is important.
Sure.
You should feel fear. Fear is not bad. Fear is good, but just don't make it happen. Make it irrational. What are the things that we can actually do to help this cause? I think what really works is, you need to talk to your glider.
Hold on, let me just mute all for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Saji.
Yeah. So I think talking to your glider, some may agree, some may not agree, but it really helps me. I was with Wiz on tandem once, and we were trying to get near a cloud, and the glider was pitching, and he had some very flowery language for the tandem. Although we all own the tandem, but he was really talking to the glider, and I was feeling bad about it. But I realized that he was talking to it because he wanted to react in that way. I did the screaming part when I was doing the nose down spiral. I was screaming. I was like, oh my god, it was very difficult for me. But once I started doing that, I knew that I was able to take it a little bit more than my comfort level. I was slowly inching towards nose down. Well, that helped me. Maybe it can help you. SIVs. I mean, there's nothing more than what you can do in SIVs for things that you fear. Nail your SIVs. Keep doing it till you are comfortable. For example, if you do a nose down spiral in SIV, you'll do probably 2, and you come back and land, and you think that you nail a nose down spiral. No, you haven't. You need more practice. Once you're able to do it on your own, on demand, at any point of time, which is an exit maneuver, which is the most dangerous maneuver, and because most of the deaths have happened there. If you have that in control, imagine the confidence that you'll have to fly anywhere. So an XC pilot is a good pilot. An acro pilot can become a better XC pilot because they've already known. So there are things that work that way. So go ahead and do those maneuvers. And like I said, you got to repeat the maneuvers till you master them. Just once or twice in a SIV will not, you'll know what it feels like, but you really need to work on them. The biggest thing is happy memories. For example, I have a fear of height. Like when I go very high, when I look down, I want to land. So what I've started doing is I've started thinking of all the good flights, long flights I've had. I keep thinking of those, and I don't look down. I look in front. I look at the horizon. I admire the beauty. I keep looking around and say that, wow, this is nice. And that takes away my mind from looking down. And if I don't look down, I don't have a problem. For people who have strong wind thermal problems or strong thermal problem, start flying. Don't stop flying. Fly early in the morning. Fly late in the evening. Don't fly in the thermic part. You don't need to. Nobody is forcing you to fly. But you slowly develop the confidence. You slowly develop the feeling of being back in the air, and talk to your friends, and you will feel that. Surround yourself with friends that encourage you. Talk to people who encourage you. And I'm telling you, our community is a great community. Just Flying Stories is an example. The things that we are sharing over here and learning while we are in a lockdown is amazing. And the only thing that I want to say towards the end is flying is about fun. We took up this flying because it was fun. It was about being in the sky. You need to bring the fun back into your life.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. I hope this helps.
Cool. That was great, Sajid. Thank you so much for getting us step by step through everything. And this is really very, very interesting. I think a lot of questions are coming up. A lot of thoughts are opening up. Before I take the questions, can I quickly bring in TJ? TJ, are you there? Can you unmute yourself? TJ, are you there? Okay, I don't know if TJ is around or if he can hear us. So, because I had a specific question coming in from Sarah, I'll still read it out, and we can probably answer it. So Sarah was talking of, I'm a novice pilot who learned to fly in 2011. I was making great progress initially, but since then my flying has been very, on and off with long breaks. So fear is gradually leading to phobia and wanting to quit, also feeling like needing to retrain just because of lack of practice. So I think we have, although Sajid, you have covered most of it, this retraining part is what I wanted to come to before we open up questions. So TJ, I don't know if you can hear me. If you're there, I would like you to come and answer this question. If not now, maybe a little later. So till then, let's get started with questions. I think we have KK in the queue first. So KK, can you unmute yourself and get on with the question? KK, are you there? Guys, can you hear me? Am I?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
we can hear you.
Yeah. So KK, are you there? If KK is not there, next is KT in line. KT, that's Kannan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
hi guys. Sajid, like you spoke about when you were
you started freestyle and someone said 8 centimeter and all. Do you feel like that negative person or like that comment or that, and when TJ said, you can't do this, and your fear like made you push more harder, but it kept you safe as well, like you were scared of it, but you also wanted to be like nahi karna hai? Do you think that resulted in a positive way for you, or it could have also gone negative, is what I wanted?
No, negativity was my own. The negativity that I was feeling for all these years was my own. But the fact that while I'm working on the negativity, and then somebody saying that it is not, teacher saying that it's that aapse nahi hoga, made me think, what am I doing? I've come here to learn. Why am I being a coward? Why am I being somebody who's not being able to even push it? What is wrong? Why am I feeling scared? So all the questions that I had before about myself and the reason why I got into getting a freestyle, that made me really, it was a slap on my face. It really woke me up, and it was like, I want to get this done.
Yeah.
And why am I, that instead of flight or fight, the fight thing got into me, and that really pushed me. And I am somebody who says, you can't do it, I'll do it. And that's my nature. So that probably was needed. It was meant to be. And that helped me. But that's not the same for everyone. That really works for me. Now I realize that, I need to tell myself that, I can do it. Let's go ahead and do it. But yeah, the negativity scared me a lot. Instead of that is why I went more into a shell.
Cutie.
It was only me who could get me out. So it's up to us individually. I hope that answers the question.
It does. It just like, I wanted to know, like sometimes even negativity and fears keeps you safe. Like you don't go. For example, I used to be scared of turning at my wing into a helico, and I used to not like how y'all did it faster. Like y'all did it sooner, and I used to be so nervous. But like I feel eventually you get over it slowly. So that's what you covered in your session. So
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, so KK is back. So KK, can you unmute yourself and ask the question, please?
Cannot hear him.
KK,
we cannot hear you.
KK, your audio is not connected. So do you want to type in your question, KK, till the time if your audio is not connecting? And yeah, so we have next, I guess, who's that? Arif.
Yeah, it's not a question. I just like to share my thoughts. Hi, everyone. For me, fear is in two parts. First is fearing an accident, which is like fearing darkness. Next is a fear after the accident, which is like fearing the daylight. Fearing the darkness is acceptable, but fearing daylight is very dangerous. If you want to come over your fearing of darkness, you can speak to your community. Like I had a fear of tight 360s and I had a fear of landing. Most of the time, I will never take off, stand there, and Abhi sir will just push me, take off, Arif. But I will not take off fearing landing, that I have to land. Landing was the most fearful thing for me. But once I had an accident, I broke one of my bone. You won't believe, before I could remove my harness, I spoke to myself and said, the minute I'm okay, I'm going to crack this and I'm going to land on my legs. Fearing darkness is, everybody goes through it. But fearing daylight, if you don't overcome it, then there is no end to it. That is where you enter phobia. I think I'll be thankful to Avi sir, Sajid, TJ, and my flying buddy Srikanth, Dr. Karnam, Rohit. If not for these guys, Uday, you too. Not for these guys, I wouldn't have come out of the sphere and I would have just sold my glider and gone back. I think fear is something, a topic which we all need to read every day, and we should also understand, like how Sajid said, like Rohit said, we should understand what we fear. While flying, fear comes in different ways. Rohit said it nice way. You identified that day what was your fear. You land and you think on it, speak to your community, why this fear came to you, and overcome that. I think with this wonderful community, very soon we'll all be flying fearlessly. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Arif.
Awesome, Arif. So we got to know that we have a writer and a poet in you, apart from a pilot and a lawyer. So that was interesting. Next up, I think it's Who's that?
Viz.
Viz,
Viz sir.
yeah, Viz Baba. Viz Baba, I anyway have a lot of questions for you later on, but why don't you come in and...
He's muted. Viz, you're muted.
I'll take the question now.
Yeah, please go ahead with your question, because I have some other questions for you later on, but you can come up with your question.
Okay, I could take those questions now.
No, I have a sequence.
No.
Go ahead.
Okay. So Sajid, so I remember, because I've been kind of first-hand witness to the entire journey.
Right.
So I remember that there was a time where you just didn't want to be in the air. You know, we would take off and it would start getting a little thermic, and you would be like, I'm going down, I'm not feeling. So
Cannot hear you, Viz.
Is that what?
Viz, can you switch off your video so your bandwidth will be enough for the audio?
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah, others also not speaking. If you can just switch off the video for a moment.
Is that
Not really. Okay. Uday, can you hear him? I can't hear him.
Yeah, no, I can't. Viz Baba, once you, if you can reconnect, that will be better, because we can't hear you. Till that time, Sajid, I have the question from KK. It's already on screen. So he's suggesting to discuss about fear during progression as a process. And, you know, I think, Sajid, you can read the question and probably...
Okay. I would like to suggest and discuss that maybe fear during progression is a process. Many a times we begin with anxiety. We have adrenaline pumping, and then the imbalance strikes and leads to beginning of fear that freezes us. You think we need to stop fear at the point of anxiety. This may occur at a time of takeoff, XC, in unknown places, anxiety, while flying in places where your friends have fed you with extra info. Very true. I mean, this is exactly where the fear comes in. Like Badri said, you know, I don't know whether I'm going to go back home in one piece. And that, believe me, is a thought I'm sure most of us have all the time. Because look, we're in an adventure sport, and if we were in a sport where it involves driving, we know we are very clear on the driving part of it. It can be, it's a normal thing that we do. But flying is so alien to us that everything is new, every territory is new, and every feeling is going to be a new thing which we are not used to, and we need to get used to it. So during a progression course, you're basically getting into an area which you're not familiar with, and you're not into something which you have experienced before, and then the extra information always feeds you. But what I feel really helps us is a few things that we need to keep in mind. First, if you're flying a glider which is has a passive safety, believe in that, because a glider will take care of you. Because most of the times our irrational fear says that, okay, your glider is suddenly going to collapse and push you down and hit you down, and you know, we have also seen certain accidents, but they were all pilot induced. So as long as we are clear on that, we are clear on our basics on what we are flying, and we know that we are going to probably be a little bit below the envelope on what we want to do. And if we are scared that day, then do that for the thing that you scared for 5 minutes more after you reach an area where you say, no, yeah, I don't want to do it. Just be there for another 5 minutes and see if you can take it. Because next day, you'll be there for another 20 minutes. And that's how you build it. I hope I answered that question.
Fantastic. KK, if that answers your question, let us know. Or if you have anything else, please let us know. Viz, Baba, you can come online if you have a stable connection now.
Fingers crossed.
Much better. Much better, Viz.
Okay, so Sajid, so like I was saying, you know, I've almost been first-hand, you know, front row witness to your entire journey. We started flying together,
right?
And then, you know, at some point you know, started getting into the I don't know, phobia. I would say almost a phobia, because you know, perfectly good day, and then suddenly, you know, I would hear you on the radio saying, you know, I'm not feeling good, I want to go down.
Right.
And then of course, you know, you pushed yourself into acro, and I assume that acro has helped you to overcome this fear of being in the air. through this journey, I mean, initially I noticed that, you used to watch a lot of videos. And you used to always tell me that, oh, look at this video, look at this accident, look at that accident. Then I used to always wonder, and I think I've even told you that, boss, I don't want to watch any of this. Later on, you also mentioned that you learned to helico out of from watching videos.
Right.
So do you think that also is something that plays a very important role, that sometimes we feed our own fear? You're already feeling fear, and then you're watching more negative stuff versus watching positive stuff and learning a new skill or something new.
Correct, Wiz. You've seen me right through it, and you've been there, like part of the entire group. I think I was in phases. When I would run away, when I would give you a call and say, no, I'm not feeling good, I'm running away and landing and whatever, and well, you would just fly away. And I used to land and think, what the shit did I just do? Like, why didn't I just stay there? That phase was a phase of the time when I was exposed to videos which I didn't want at that time. I didn't think about those times. But that made me think that maybe I'm being an idiot by not knowing that this could also happen to me. Why am I risking my self this way? Then that took some time. And then I got out of it slowly, where we spoke, and Rohit had also gone through his reserve through at that time, and he was coming out of it slowly. And I was also coming out of it. Then we used to speak, and we used to talk to each other. Karthik was there. Uday was there. We used to talk, and that's the process when I slowly got out of it, by practicing support and positivity from these people while I was still watching videos. Because watching videos was telling me that, okay, I need to be careful on this part. Let me not push my envelope so much. But I also realized by now that I also have the positive side, where we talk about safety, and we talk about being in the envelope and understanding what's actually happening around me. Weather was another thing that really pissed me off whenever I used to go to the takeoff, and people will say, "Aaj ye hoga, 5 minute mein wo hoga, 10 minute mein ye hoga, abhi dekho kaise change hoga," and nothing used to happen. I said, "What nonsense is this here?" So one day I got really pissed off with this, and I took up understanding weather, and in 4 days I cracked it. And then now nobody can tell me that, okay, aaj ye hoga, wo hoga, because it's all nonsense. So I've realized to filter what to take and what not to take. But eventually, when I got out of it, that's when I entered the acro part of it, because directly from the situation that I was into, going into acro wouldn't have helped me. But you're right. You need to filter what you read. You need to filter who you hang with, and you need to filter what thoughts you allow inside your head. And more, like for me, videos is more important to understand, and that actually helped me positively to move ahead and do things which I completely got scared earlier. Today I do all of them with ease.
Fantastic.
Thanks,
Okay.
Thanks.
So, right. So, thanks, Baba, for bringing that input. Now, let's shift gears. We've been talking to pilots who have experienced fear. Now, let's talk to the people who are at the top of the game. So, I want to quickly first, if possible, bring in Avi Malik. I know, Avi, if you are around, can you put your camera on? And I want to ask you a question, which I mentioned earlier as well, was about, getting into that intermediate syndrome. Now, we've been talking of fear. What about the anti-fear? People who don't have fear and could lead to mistakes. And that's also an important aspect. So if Avi, if you can run us through that particular point, which you have stressed many times during your trainings, and also if you have anything else to share with us. Over to you, Avi.
Okay, first of all, thanks. It's such a joy seeing everybody here and having a lovely conversation. Thanks for arranging. It's really amazing. And then listening to, each of you all, like Karthik sharing his experience, and Badri, talking about his experience, and Sajid, of course, is, the anchor. And you also talked about your experience. So in the middle, I was feeling a little guilty, like I think I should have supported more. And yeah, things have changed, although, we as instructors also keep improving our knowledge and, learning new stuff. So nowadays, like, in the school itself, we cover fear in a big way. We never used to talk about it before. So, we can look at fear in a very different way. See fear as intelligence. It's body's intelligence that is telling you something or giving you some very important information. Okay, so we can look at fear as good, something that is body's intelligence giving you some good information. Okay, now we can divide fear into two, positive fear and negative fear. Okay, now being nervous on takeoff is actually a good thing. Okay, because positive fear is fear that helps you. So if you're a little nervous, it is a good thing because you will be very careful. You'll observe really carefully the weather conditions. You'll observe do your pre-flight checks properly, and you'll probably take a better decision because of the fear. Your heartbeat is increased, like Badri was saying, heartbeat goes high, the blood is pumping. That is a readiness that you're ready for action, and you'll be extra careful, you'll be extra attentive. And actually, in all athletes, this bit of extra pumping of the blood improves performance. Okay, and we should thank that body's intelligence to make us a little nervous before takeoff. It makes us more attentive, and I think everybody can relate to it. So you can start seeing it positively. That will bring a big shift in you that, okay, I'm nervous before takeoff. Good. Let me see if everything is okay. My kit is okay. Conditions are okay. I'm not going to take a chance. And you will take the best decisions. Vis-a-vis. Okay, can we have the mics off?
Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah. So this is the positive. When does fear become negative? When it starts to deteriorate our performance, when it starts to affect us negatively. Okay, that's when we say, okay, we have to do something about it. And you can take an example of a dark room, which Arif took. Fear is generally of the unknown. I don't know what's going to bloody happen. Okay, and body knows it, and it starts to pump the blood because we perceive some threat. Okay, and now it will start to maybe, it can freeze us. It can, make us take bad decisions. That's when we can say it is, negative. And like, Sajid has mentioned, there are ways of, managing this, very positive ways of managing this. I would list them like, like everybody mentioned the social aspect, which means talk to your friends, talk to your pilot friends, get it off your system, take support. Okay, so social is one. Second is escape. Don't do that particular activity if it's freaking you out, at least for now. So social, escape. Third, I would say training. Okay, strong wind takeoff is making me a little nervous, not just a little nervous. I don't feel like bloody taking off. Okay, let me go down. Let me practice. I train. Okay. Fourth, I would say is research. Research on that particular subject, get more information, get more knowledge, and then see how much you've dealt with the fear. So there are ways of managing. I just like to repeat them. Social, everybody is doing that in a beautiful way. I love the groups and the community helping each other, but that's not the only way. You can do escape, you can do training, you can do research, and all these things will, help you out. And coming back to the dark room, it's like, a child wants to go through the dark room. He is scared. Okay. Now, if you tell him, go for it, he will just run. Okay. But if he wants to get rid of the fear, like, first point of, what Sajid said, accept it. Unless you walk very slowly through the dark room, you will continue to have the fear. Okay. Now, we face fear, in our normal lives. it's so much part of our lives, and we live like very fearful lives, and that's why we're not like, super happy, la la la, all that. It's not just paragliding. Fear is playing a part like all the time. I hope everyone can relate to this. So fear has a habit of hiding, and we help fear to hide because we don't like it. So we deny it, we suppress it, we want to look away. And that's where fear has an advantage over us. Fear will only go if we decide to face it. First, like Sajid said, accept it and face it. Unless you face it square, face on, it will not disappear, because what is fear anyway? It is made of thoughts. Okay? And it is made of thought formation, it is embedded in your psyche, and it is lodged itself. It may turn into phobia if you keep empowering it through your belief. But if you begin to look at it, just look at it, and you'll start to disentangle it, just like your lines. And slowly it has no choice but to dissipate, because all it needs is awareness. It is hiding. Fear is a habit of hiding. Actually, it lives on because it hides. The moment you decide to face it, and you decide, okay, in this room, I've run through it. I've, gone swiftly, but today I will walk. I will walk slowly through the dark room, and you walk very slowly. Take your time, walk slowly through the dark room, and okay, the fear of the dark room is gone. So I just wanted to share this. I mean, I'm planning a session as well, and I think this needs a lot of attention. This particular topic, I'm glad Sajid kind of chose it, and there was a discussion around it. But it's big. It's big. It contaminates our whole life, not just in paragliding. I mean, we all experience it, and what I feel is it's nothing. It's just that we decide not to face it because we don't like it. But the day we decide to face it and decide that, okay, we can deal with it, you will be free. So that's my 2%.
Fantastic, Avi Malik. Thank you so much. So very well articulated. I think this recording is going to be so valuable with all the inputs coming from amazing people here, amazing pilots here. So since we have shifted gears, thank you, Avi, again. So now since you have set the pace and we have shifted gears to the experts, Sajid, if you may allow me, I want to bring in some experts who are in the room right now, who are competition pilots who have been flying for a long time, and we somehow perceive them to be pilots who don't seem to have fear. Like Viz, for example, I have never seen fear in him. I really don't understand how that is possible. I'm sure there is some fear, but it's not seen.
Yeah,
so we have Vijay Soni is also in the room. Then we have Alok around. I guess Alok is back. And we have Sunit. Sunit has also been in competitions now, and he's come up very fast. So, guys, if Viz, Vijay Soni, Sunit, Alok, can you come on and quickly one point? We don't have much time, but if you can quickly come up with one point that you would like to share with us. What is your take on fear? We don't see it in you guys. So can you run us through that? Viz Baba, you want to start? Rohit, you may need to let them unmute themselves.
I don't think he's there.
Okay.
Viz?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't unmute myself. Okay, so that's a tough question. So no, I would not say that I do not feel fear. Maybe I just have a very high tolerance for fear. Like Avi said, that you have to face your fear. If you don't face your fear, it is going to get the better of you. So I guess that is generally my attitude. I mean, of course, there are situations where I'm flying and suddenly, I still remember I was in Gir once, and both Alok and me were flying, and we faced something which we later figured out with Gurpreet that it could have been forehand winds. Now, it's a phenomena that I had never come across it. It's not known to happen in India. Yes, in the Alps, it does happen. I've even seen it firsthand. But at that time, it was, it was just we were flying and everything was perfectly normal. And then suddenly it was like, we were just being pushed downwards and, losing complete control of the glider. Everything was feeling soft and mushy, like, we were in the lee side. And we were far away from any terrain. And I still remember that day, I was praying to God and saying, I just want to get on, I just want to land, which in retrospect was actually the wrong thing to do, which I figured out later that, as we kept going down, we were, in a flow. And yes, I mean, I do feel fear, but I guess I have a different capacity to deal with it and to face it. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Adding to the same point on that day,
yes, Alok. Yeah.
when we both took different decisions on that day. He went on to go land at the same spot, but something in me said, okay, I am just moving closer to the mountain. I have to move right opposite to the mountain, and I went in the opposite direction. I reached to the landing. I just landed a field below the landing. So that again came out of a different decision making at that moment, how you react to it. For example, our experiences, our intuitions tell us, okay, there's something happening, I should go land. But like Viz said, the decision to land at that moment was a wrong decision. And I don't know, for me, the intuition told me that I should go away from this terrain, and that's it. It led me to landing. That was a different case altogether. I did not intend to reach all the way to landing. I just wanted to be away from the terrain as much as possible. So considering the aspect that how we react at that moment, if we honestly, like Madam Curie said, no, nothing is to be feared, only to be understood. If we have that processing power at that moment to understand that aspect, well and good. Otherwise, we just let our intuitions follow. Okay, this is something that I feel okay. In a quick way, what is the next right thing to do? If the next right thing to do is go out of the terrain, then you go out of the terrain. The next right thing is to go and land, which we have done a couple of times in Panchgani as well, me and Viz as well. When we faced really turbulent air mass, we went and landed right away. But what is your experience telling you based on how much you have flown, and what is the next right thing? It is a thin line, we don't really know what is the right thing always. But I think it comes with experience, like we talked about. And the more we try to understand it, the more better we get it. It's not that we are able to deal with everything, but we expose ourselves less and less to such things.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alok, for those inputs.
Sorry, can I add something more here? Or we are running out of time?
We are, but I guess everyone is hooked, so we don't want to.
Okay, also one conclusion that I've drawn is that a lot of times fear, at least the way I experience it, it's fear of the unknown. I guess it's a basic human instinct that if you don't know something, there is that animal of fear which kind of starts going. I mean, you may be on that same road that you walk every day in the daytime, but one day at night, there are no lights, and you hear one odd sound, and suddenly there's a fear that leaps up at you from inside. So I guess fear of unknown is what we need to fight, and the only way to do it is by gaining knowledge on the subject.
That's exactly what I feel, Viz, and all the things that we just discussed. Like Avi also said, walk through the dark room when you're comfortable to walk through the dark room. And what I have also said is, stalling was my fear, right? But I've stalled it once, twice, thrice, 4 times in SIV. It's not enough. You got to get better at it. You got to do it again and again and again till you're better at it. Then you don't you educate
Right.
yourself and you get out of it. So
Cool.
that's the right part.
Thank you, guys. Guys, I'm still wanting Vijay, Sony, and Suneet to please come and speak about fear, because you guys are at top of the game. We really want to hear you guys. If you can please share your views. Daksh is also here. Daksh, you're also a competition pilot. Quick comments before we close. Everyone is really hooked on, I can see. So let's do the best here. Rohit, can they unmute themselves? Have you allowed that?
Yeah, hi there.
Hey,
Can you
Suneet.
hear me?
Yes. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so like I'll repeat what Viz said. Like again, it's not that I don't feel fear, just I have a high tolerance for it. And like every now and then I do get into uncomfortable situations, but I just tell myself that like I know I have the skills to handle it, so it's okay. And like I'm quite careful, and I'll make sure that I don't get into a situation where I think my skills are not enough to handle it. Like, oh, for example, like there is like one situation where I still feel uncomfortable or even fearful at times is when I'm flying very low and close to terrain, like just scratching and the conditions are rough. And like in that condition, those kind of conditions, I find it tough to like push speed bar, and I'm like still trying to work on that. And even stalls, since I haven't done enough, like when I did like a few stalls in my Delta 3, like I did find them quite scary to be honest, and I want to do some more so I can like get over that. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And apart from that, I have had like a stick Slovenia. Like I was flying on full bar in the outer open. Like it was quite rough, but I was still on full bar because I had a bad start. I was trying to catch up, and then I suddenly had a frontal on full bar, and I hadn't done an SIV on the wing. So I misjudged the amount of energy the glider would have while diving forward, and I pulled my brakes quite a bit. But like I should have actually slammed them all the way down, but I didn't realize this. And so the glider went forward once again, but in a really like uneven way. It like yawed quite a bit at the end, and part, and like the tip went through the lines and it wrapped around again. And my riser, so about to twist, I like quickly grabbed or put one hand in the middle of risers and kind of like pushed them away. I'm not quite sure what I did in the moment. It was quite like a reflex action. Then I quickly got the glider overhead, and I slowly like managed to get the cravat out after trying pretty much everything. And I just kept on flying, and like I kind of just analyzed the situation after landing and realized that just I need to be careful next time and be more alert while pushing on bar. Like basically, like apart from this, I've had one or two small incidents where I did have fear, but I just didn't let them develop into a phobia. Like dealt with them early on. Yeah.
Cool. We have thank you so much, Suneet. So skill is an important point which you said to be developed. We have a comment from Daksh. He says, I think it's okay for people to not want to do acro, but they should try to understand what dynamics of the wing makes the glider do a particular maneuver. They should try to understand why glider do tumbling, sats, especially helico. Thank you so much, Daksh, for that. Vijay, Sony, last time, would you please try and come and say something to us? We are really keen to hear you.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. This is a very good topic started, Sajid. And I can go a whole day on this of my own experience.
Of course.
Fear, yes. I have fear. So there we talk about the positive fear and the negative fear. Yes, positive fear. Everyone should have this positive fear. Then you don't make mistakes. And the day you fly without fear, positive fear, you tend to make some mistakes. And then can be very big mistakes. So always keep this positive fear, all the community I'm talking about. And always I say this is, whenever people ask me about the capability of his flying, I always tell them this is not more than physical, this is a mental game.
Correct.
When the mental things comes inside, that's the way the fear comes in. And most of the fear comes in the novice pilot, novice people who are just going out of the cage of the school and flying free like a bird. Okay, that's a place they encounter the fear most. And how they encounter, it is not in the flying. It is evening when they sit with the people, sit with the crowd. There are two type of crowd always everywhere.
Very
One
good
only
point.
speaking positively, and second crowd only talking about the negative part of the flying and making fun out of it. So whenever you encounter such a crowd of negative talking and just talking bullshits, just leave that table immediately. Don't entertain there at all. It will keep you very much positive in flying. And
Perfect.
second,
Very good point.
in flying, some fear, like instantly you can solve the fear, and some fear take times to get solved. I'll talk about my one incident. Like I'm a self learner from beginning. You can tell me a Make in India pilot. I've learned in Indian Wing, on Indian Wing in India for many years, and all my journey without any courses. I've not even done SIV till now, but I've gone through the maneuver beyond SIV, which SIV also doesn't teach you. Because everybody cannot afford to do SIV, and so some people, they should not discourage that they have not done SIV, so what will happen next? No, you can keep flying. Don't worry. Grow step by step. You grow slowly, but you definitely grow to some level. So this is my initial days when I was doing all the things by myself. There was no internet, no pilots to talk, nothing. But I want to do something. So I wanted to learn spiral dive. Once I had seen some pilot in punching, flying, coming down rapidly. So I read in the book, I talk with my instructor, and I get into the diving. So before doing the thing, I keep talking to yourself what you're going to do in your mind. So one day I climbed on the tower quite high, and that was the day I want to learn this dive by myself. No instructor on radio, nothing, but I have to do it. Okay. So, and I didn't even know that before getting into spiral dive, you have to do the wing overs and go. So I just pulled my one brake hard, very hard, and I went into blackout immediately. But there were pre-instruction to my mind, so I came out and I stabilized myself. Then I start talking to yourself. I talk to myself, okay, if I do it now, it's okay. If I don't do it now, I'll not do it this forever. But do it lightly now. Don't go so hard. I spoke to myself. I went to spiral dive. And then that went smoothly, and I did 25 dives and came out. That's how you come out of your fear instantly. And many people talk about what happens when you get a fear while flying. And they given us many steps like do this thing, do that thing, and come out. I have a very simple one action to come out of all this thing. Whenever you're flying and you are stuck into fear, just smile out. When you smile,
perfect.
You're neutral. Don't think of anything, because it's when you are in the fear, it's impossible to think of all the first step, second step, third steps.
Correct.
You can't remember all the things. Just smile out. That will keep your nervous system again to normal position, and you will come out of it immediately.
Very nice.
Good perfect.
Secondly,
thank you.
In some fear, they take times. Means I'm flying for so many years, more than 25 years now. Many phases came in where I was in very much fear. But be genuine to yourself and ready to step down. Don't feel ashamed that I was flying in D, now how can I fly in B? And that's the only way to come out, because you have to step down to glider and fly from the basic again and come to again reach that level. That's how you come over in longer time, but you come out definitely. That's it.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Very
Perfect.
much,
Thank
Vijay.
you so much, Vijay.
I think
so.
Uday, that's
yeah,
exactly.
Sajid, sorry.
Just reiterating those points that he said, like the points that we have also made, that you need to have your ego out. You need to first accept you got a problem and ready to step down and apply slowly. Maybe let your peers or maybe people who are junior to you, who have flown, are flying higher wing. Does not matter. It's right. What you need to do, and also smile. That's an amazing bit of info. Thank you.
Right. Perfect. Perfect, Vijay. Thank you so much. We are getting such different perspectives. Sajid, I have two more questions. One is for Avi Malik and then one comment from Badri. But before that, I want to come back to you, Sajid. Preeti said, thanks for getting the elephants out. I think what we have achieved, Sajid, with this session is something
Correct.
that everyone had inside them,
Yeah.
but either hesitated to talk or didn't know what to talk or whom to talk. So I think you have really set a very good precedent. I think we can just go on talking and talking about this, and we might even plan another session. We should rather.
And I think this should also be part of the progression course in schools, where people will talk about, okay, do you have fear now and how to deal with it. So I think we'll just be able to fly in a much more higher potential of your own self.
Yeah.
It's
Perfect.
awesome.
So Sajid, this is really to thank you to really set the tone for this thing. Brilliant session. Before we really end, I know it's going on for a long time. Avi sir, I have a question for you from Imad quickly. He says that he's scared of flying at higher altitude. I think a lot of people, including myself, have this fear of flying at higher altitudes. And can you tell us how to face that, because we need to fly high and we need to somehow overcome that fear. Like I remember myself, when I'm doing wingos, if I'm very high, I'll do spirals, but I'll not do wingos. But then once I start seeing land, and when I shouldn't be doing, I start doing wingos because now I'm feeling comfortable because I'm not high. So some fear of heights is something a lot of us face. Can you quickly answer on that?
Yeah, so one thing I'd like to share is that there are a lot of acro pilots who are actually afraid of heights, and very good XC pilots afraid of heights. I mean, they don't want to look down. They look down, they scare themselves. Otherwise, they are doing their normal flying. So that's one. Second is, fear is, one can say, unquestioned thoughts. We have to question, why have I decided to be afraid of height? Progressively, whatever height you're comfortable with, you can, step one, I slowly start to gain altitude. I start to also realize the advantages of, altitude, because altitude is fuel. If things go wrong, I have, altitude to, make it right. But you should be more scared when you're low, actually, So it is unquestioned thoughts. I need to question my logic or my reasoning that actually I should, be more comfortable on top because I have altitude to play. I can, travel and get more landing options. So first step, slowly graduate. Maybe take a tandem with a friend, like, an instructor, and go high with him and see what you're comfortable with and start chatting there, like, what you're scared about. And even, going into phobias, like it was a subject that, Sajid had mentioned. Again, these are unquestioned thoughts, like we are afraid of heights. I mean, I go on a building, I look down. If I imagine myself falling, that idea gives me fear. Okay. But I'm not going to jump, But some people imagine, everybody imagines, "Arey, gira to kya lagegi hai?" Okay, fine, you imagine that, but I'm going to not jump, And because, oh shit, yahan se gira to marunga. And I just, start believing this thought, and through my belief, empowering this thought and make it so strong myself. It is created by me, And now I've decided I'm afraid of heights. Everybody's looking down. No. I have to question my thoughts because fear is thought-based and fear is unquestioned thoughts. You need to ask yourself, okay, let me face this, devil. What is making me afraid of height? What is it in me that is resisting or, being on an altitude? Go with an instructor friend, spend time with him, chat with him. Baba, ab mere ko dar lagna shuru ho raha hai. Kyun? So go step by step. And like I said, you face it and you will realize, fuck, it was nothing. If you really face it, you decide to face it, it has to go. It is hiding. It is there because you have allowed it.
Yeah.
Okay?
True.
It has no power. It has only the power of your belief and no other power. You are fine.
Perfect.
You're fine without it. Now you don't have it. You know.
Perfect. I think a brilliant point. We have a small example here of Sajid. We were in Bali and we had gone to this bungee jumping thing, and we were called one by one, and we all kind of jumped, without much thought. And Sajid was a guy who stood there for 20-25 minutes just debating whether he wants to jump or not. And now we have him doing helico, so I've seen him bridge that gap from not jumping from a small platform with the rope tied and you're not even getting into the water, to doing helico over a bloody deep ocean. So brilliant point. I think you need to get those thoughts and fears answered and understood. I think Sajid, you want to quickly say something about this before I get in Badri for the closing comments? And also, Rohit, you need to unmute Sajid. And Sajid, before you start, also, how did you get to this point where you have become so systematic about things? You have slides today for the presentation, and you are looking at charts, and you are talking of, figures and decimals and fractions. I mean, it's a little mind-boggling. We really don't know where this Sajid suddenly came out of. So these 2 points quickly.
So I've always been this. It's just that you guys have not seen it. And my point is only when it comes to a point where it is about fight or flight, I choose to fight. And that's when all these things come out. But yeah, I think the whole change that has come out of this is because of my friend circle, our group that we've spoken, especially Rohit and I. We speak a lot on a daily basis. And we speak about you, we speak about Karthik, we speak about Viz, we speak about Imad. We all speak about, we make fun of each other, that's fine in the group, but we actually dedicate time to talk about each person on how to get that person to do more. What should we do? What should Uday do to fly more? This is the main difference, I would say, that slowly brings a person out. And without this support, as a person who's on their own, will not be able to do it. So this support and the positivity is needed to move ahead and really come to a point where you have to beat all this and move ahead in the dark room, like Avi said.
Perfect. Thank you, Sajid. I think this has been a really long session. We're just going on and on and on. I think we can go on as well, but we need to stop somewhere. So I want to pass it on to Badri for the closing comments. We have had some brilliant inputs today. Thank you everyone who shared something. Thank you for people who asked questions. Let's hope to make this more interesting in the future. I guess we'll have this topic once again, if Badri allows it or we find the time. Badri, over to you for the closing comments, please.
Yeah, I asked, I said, come back to me for more. So this is again on the fear subject. So I'll tell you right from C1 till now, kind of a fear I have in a very short way. I'm not going to take too long. I had fear for launching, even from a 150-foot Shinde Hill. And today I've flown the highest is 4,600 meters. And I have fear I used to doubt the lines, I used to doubt the wing, I used to look at flying at probably 3,000 meters in Panchgani, I used to stare at carabiners. Are they really going to carry me? I used to look at them seriously. And I used to look at the lines, and then I used to think, okay, what if this fails? What if I free fall from the sky? And then I used to say, okay, I have reserve. So will that hold me? Oh, you have 100 fears. And then I crossed all that. And then when I go for a competition, I have a fear that will I reach my next cylinder? Will I reach my goal? Will I not cross the ceiling? Vijay has put 3,000 ceiling and everybody broke it. And that we don't know how not to cross the ceiling. That's a fear. So, but I have a simple way for this is I used to come back and tell myself, I used to have some kind of a reference comparison, which I'll give you today, is that I used to compare entire my flying with the driving. Okay, today I got first time to got an opportunity to, as a teenager, to get into a car to try it out.
Interesting.
Okay, so you're holding the steering and you have put it, now you have to handle the gear, and there is something called clutch, and then you have accelerator. Oh, too many things to handle. And at the same time, your car doesn't go straight. I mean, also like you look like this because beyond the bonnet, what is there? You don't know. Up to where your tail is, where your car is, front is, you don't know. You don't know many things, which means I compare this car with our equipment. You don't know anything about your equipment. You have a lot of things to know. First of all, your equipment. Your equipment is your car. The moment you learn about how to master inside the car, now you have the fear from outside. Like, will I be able to take over? The truck is coming ahead from the front. And then what if the bridge which I'm passing, what if it collapses? I will get into water. It is possibility. And what if something else comes from the back and it hits me if I put a hard brake? And these are external fears. I call them as weather. I call them as some other gliders in the traffic in the competition. So then I used to come back and I used to think, when I'm resting that day night, I used to think, okay, none of this has happened. I have learned the car. I'm driving well. I'm making my decisions. I'm safe. That means I'm also will be safe in paragliding. Thank you guys for joining.
Cool. Thank you, Badri, for that analogy. Really very well explained. I think people can relate to driving a motor vehicle. So guys, this was a very, very interesting session. Thank you, Sajid, for taking this up. Thank you for opening up. Thank you for opening up your own fears. Thank you for bringing the fears out of us and explaining this to us. Thank you all the experts, Avi and all the top pilots, to speak on this. This was brilliant. Thank you so much. Let's hope to have more such conversations in the coming days. Cheers everyone for attending. Bye.
Well done, Uday. Very well done. Very nicely managed. Thank you. Rohit, thanks, Badri.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Arif.
It was really nice.
Chris, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Badri. God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cleaned Baba, where were you, man?